Welcome back, everyone, and this is another Regal Tails episode. Last we left off, right now Naya is pretty much screwed. Everyone's eyes are all the eyes are at her now. Again. She slowly holds her head up high and takes in several fleeting breaths. I promise you all a grand battle to end all in this accursed war. But I'm afraid the change of plans is in order. Even at the mere mention of their name, the dirge has always found a way to fuck us proper. Everyone within the crowd shifted anxiously to what Naya spouted, her words laid heavy to every ear listening in. They must be really, it must have been like history with them, you know? They must really hate the dirge or something. Hey. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, she's not laughing, really. I think it's just like, hey. Regardless if they are marching homeward or not, we're not letting the Emperor slip from our hands. Not when we're this close to sinking our fangs into his rich blood. A yammering of grunts and growls bellowed from the crowd, yet none could argue with her logic. That said, when we find them, I'll rip through every single Imperial they throw our way to get to the bloody High Lord. You, on the other hand, are forbidden from fighting any Imperials. Everyone pauses, dazed by the very thought of it. Her clan bursts into a riot, both outraged and flabbergasted at their chieftain's orders. Yeah, I'm confused here. Her mighty voice roared through the masses and demanded attention once more. For fuck's sakes! Pipe down! We are Sharskarans. We've built a legacy of the brutalities and sanities our tribes have inflicted into this world. We made history revere us, know us by nightmares and consequences alone. So I'll be damned to have our legacy tarnished one bit by the likes of those fucking dirge. Blinded in her own fury, she stormed straight through the campfire to address her people directly. Neither a twinge of pain or resentment of walking through flame could break the storm brewing in her eyes. Let me just crack my neck. Ooh! Sleepy got his neck cracked by himself. Our clans are spread thin, and sending word to abandon their posts would spell disaster for us and the rest of the alliance. We're already marching towards an enemy we can't afford to have more on every front now. Naya pauses to take in a breath. So to the rest of her clan, no one had found the means to read with their ferocious chieftain roaring down at their face. Zuta made mention the Valar Empire follow a duel of champions. Mentality back when we used to do contracts for them. I'm sorry, I didn't read that fully. She peers off the Zuta, garnering everyone's attention towards him as well. That's still a thing they do, right? Been ages since I worked with them, but I believe so. They're not ones to stray from tradition, last I checked. Naya holds him to his word with a triumphant bravado to her tone. Then that settles it. Your great and powerful chieftain shall challenge the Empire's finest. No matter the amount, I'll wither down their forces until I crack the Emperor's very skull on top of a mound of his own dead men. Everyone seemed frozen in disbelief. This wasn't so much a rallying cry, but a suicide pact. She seemingly became deranged enough to sign. Yeah, this is a 1v infinite. No, not myriads of enemies. The numbers will tire her out. Not that I doubt you could pull it off, but are you listening to yourself right now? Of course I am. It'll be days until we hear back from your men, whether or not our oh my god, sleepy. Whether or not our home is under threat, we need to stall. Every clansman felt the weight of Naya's words sink into their souls. Every harrowing emotion she harbored found their way into everyone's hearts, unable to object to her crazed logic. So she will buy us time, I see. That's fucked up. Cherskara comes first. That's how it is, always has, always will. I can't afford losing a single one of you to the gruesome battle with the Empire. I need you all to be strong and ready if our home is under siege. What's the life of a single Sharkaran if their very namesake is robbed off them? If the Valars really are as honor-bound as we've been told, I'll cast my own life in their line of sight if it means averting it from you all. She holds herself stoically, awaiting any objections, but none came forth. She nearly breaks character when she catches a glance of Megina, her arms hugging at her sides and eyes trembling with fear. No! Bad mommy waifu about to die? Naja takes in a deep waving breath and growls out. No objections? Good! We have a lot of planning ahead of us now. Whatever outcomes we make for ourselves will affect Sharkara. I leave that bit to Zuta. I, on the other hand, will do what Sharskarans do best and make an example. An example just for the Empire when they cross lines with a Sharskaran. After all, what better way for yours truly to contribute to our ongoing infamy? The world will know us well for when one lonesome Sharskaran single-handedly took on an entire Imperial regime. And knowing my handiwork, y'all definitely will see me make a spectacle out of them. Despite the overcasting gloom that befell everyone, the shining bravado Naja lit their fighting spirits up once more. They all knew what needed to be done and would be at her beckoning call at a moment's notice. Her clan reverberated. Naja gleams across the sea of her battle-hardened brothers and sisters. All were at the ready to her orders, save for her daughter, who carried distraught within her eyes. The second their eyes meet, however, Megina's gloomy gaze hardens into devout admiration for her mother. She ignites herself into a fiery roar, chanting along with the clan as they place their hopes into her mother's shoulders. A polished desk sat in the center of the lavish imperial tent, lined with war trophies, weapons, and trunks of books. There sat the Lion Emperor, Solaire Valar, clad in black and red armor with a cape lined with red and gold. His long, well-kept black hair hung perfectly from his head down to his shoulders. The Emperor scribbled down notes while eating his morning breakfast of exotic fruits. His head perked up as he heard the sound war horns somewhere close within his own camp. A large burly bison decorated in iron armor charged into the tent. Panic dripped off his face. My lord, an enemy war party has been spotted from the east. They're heading this way. The Emperor turned from his chair with a puzzled look on his face. That's Solaire? My, oh my, looks like he's a decent fellow. Okay, I see. What banners do they carry? It's Shaskara, sire. Their party is massive. The Emperor furrowed his brow for a moment before knocking his chair to the side as he stood and glared toward the battle map. Each faction on the map was represented with coins. How the hell did those cursed savages get this close to us? Well, that's the weird part, sir. The Emperor dashed out of his tent. Solaire's tent sat atop of a hill. Below, his men scrambled about between their own barracks. Fist behind his back, he strode over to a neighboring hill, acting as their scouting post to see the situation himself. He peered out at the morning sun, and in the distance he saw them. Shaskarans. It looks like they're walking towards us at the rate they're going. Perhaps they don't know about our whereabouts. The king growled to himself, his minor roar sent shivers down the spine of his surrounding men. If they didn't know before, that bloody horn probably tipped them off. I feel it would make no difference, my lord. To their immediate right was a thin-built harpy eagle dressed in a formal button-up uniform. His ruby-red feathers ruffled in the winds as he peered through a bronze telescope. Looks as though they are ready for a skirmish. If that's the case, Lieutenant, get the ballista's armed and ready. Issue out orders to our cavalry as well. Keep them on overwatch near our perimeters. I'll be damned they ambush us in the... The Emperor's words were cut off with the screeching of a hawk pierced through the camp's commotion. A small group of hawk soldiers swooped down to land. The head of the group dug his talons into the ground, skidding across the dirt. Wearing a shimmering pleated gown of silver and blue threading, a navy blue feathered male hawk met Solaire with an arm shake. I came as soon as my scouts reported in, my lord. What trouble did you get yourself into this time? You tell me, you are the eyes of my empire. So yep, I know it. This is now a civil war. Kings are helping the current emperor. But the other kings and barons and counts and whatever the fuck they are, ranks, are the other side of it. They turn to face the incoming war party. They're rather, to put it lightly, odd. Their formations all over the place. They have aviators to scout us, but do not use them. They have the archers, but dare not attack us. They simply ignored us. Perhaps they seek to surrender themselves. General Pax stared intensely into his telescope as they conversed, noting all of the defensive equipment leading the party, archers right behind them. He found it curious how the Shaskaran, the battle-hardened war clan, held no expression to fight on their face. His brow arched as he took in the sight of the one leading the pack. That might be the furthest from the truth, my lord. The feathered general hands the Emperor the telescope, directing his gaze to the center of the group. A massive lioness led the party, carrying a burnt orange banner with a blood-red star etched with claw marks. The Emperor pulls away with a baffled look drawn across his face. I had no idea we can grow that big. Neither did I. Naya's clan reached the edge of the forest. They halted their advance and grouped up into one big wall of metal and muscle. She herself squats down with her banner beside her. Zuta rode on horseback in front of her to relay commands. A crude smirk curled over her lips as she was greeted with the sight of a glimmering knight bursting out of the forest on horseback. Zuta held his arm out to hold the clan from attacking the knight. The approaching knight's perfectly polished armor glinted in the sunlight as he neared the war party. That is as close you are allowed to come near His Majesty's army. You may discuss your terms of surrender to me here. Every clansman, including Naya, howled in laughter towards the knight's decree. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Huh. Oh, we're willing to talk alright, just not to some scrawny tin can. Tell His Majesty we're here for a face-to-face discussion only. Scrawny? How dare you? Have you any jests as to whom you're addressing? A dim-witted look hung over Zuta's face. He looked at his fellow tribesmen for advice, but no one knew any better. Not even Naya seemed to show any concern. Deep down, however, she was loving every second of this, making fools of elitists, like the empire was a simple pleasure in life for her, as sweet as spring honey. I'm the Emperor's most trusted emissary, his swift and true liaison. A pox towards my words is a pox towards his. Oh boy, you're one of these characters, huh? Zuta let out a long dramatic sigh. Fine, and just who might our shiny messenger boy be? You, my simple friend, may refer to me as Sir Jeremy. In the heat of his build-up, Jeremy the helmet from his head to reveal his face. His scruffy gray hair popped out of place. His gray tiger fur glimmered with the rising sun. Stunned silence swept over the clan after the mention of his name. Zuta broke the silence by preaching to his people. My friends, my companions, I ask you to bow your heads imminently. We are in the holiest of presences, graced by the sun itself. Shiny Knight Jeremy! A collective roar of laughter burst through the field from the tribe. Even Naya had to bite her tongue to avoid rolling the grass with laughter. Sir Jeremy found little amusement in this. He simply brushed this off as a simple-minded barbarians laughing at their own petty jokes. Such a pitiful band of warriors. After a good hearty laugh, Naya cued this as her time to step in. She braced herself on her knee and stood, now towering beside her banner. Carrying her colors with pride, she strode over to the knight. At first glance, Jeremy didn't see Naya as much of a threat, but as she drew closer to him, her true size dwarfed his own. He was awestruck at her massive build. Damn, son! Look at Naya here, bro. What the unit, fam? Look at those abs. Naya approached along the side of him. To his bewilderment, she was still staring him down, regardless of him being on horseback. She was massive, powerful, and widely alluring to him. Jeremy felt the burning across his cheeks, a blush and becoming of a knight. He was at a loss for words, being stricken with frightful and lewd thoughts of the lioness before him. It was only after Naya staked her banner to the ground that he came to. Do you speak for these people, madame? Aw, look at Jeremy, Sir Knight. Well. Listen here, boy, you have to prove yourself. Are you that guy? Are you the guy, huh? If you're not, get the fuck out of here.